You might not be mentally weak. You might actually be training your brain to give up. And the frightening part is, you may be doing it every single day while calling it self-care. Think about the last time something went wrong. Someone ignored you. You got rejected. A relationship ended. You failed at something you thought you were good at. Maybe you didn't even cry. You just stopped. You opened your phone, scrolled, opened your laptop, closed it, told yourself, I'll deal with it tomorrow. And tomorrow became next week. Then quietly a question appeared. Why can everyone else handle life, but I can't? Here's what I want you to hear. That doesn't automatically mean you're weak. Your brain has a shutdown system. When it experiences pain that feels impossible to control, it doesn't always fight. Sometimes it stops fighting. That's not a character flaw. That's a survival response. But here's where things get interesting. Your brain doesn't just learn from what happens to you. It learns from what you repeatedly do afterward. And that's where you may be accidentally making yourself weaker. There are 3 habits that do it. The first one is the most socially acceptable. You call avoidance protecting your peace. You don't send the difficult message. You don't have the uncomfortable conversation. You quit when something starts affecting your mood. You tell yourself, I just need space. Sometimes you genuinely do. But sometimes protecting my peace really means I don't want to experience the discomfort of doing something difficult. And your brain notices. Every time you escape something you could have handled, your brain gets a tiny reward, relief. And relief teaches a dangerous lesson. Leaving works. So the next time something feels uncomfortable, you escape faster, then faster, until your world slowly gets smaller. The second trap is even more dangerous. You keep waiting for life to admit that it was unfair. Someone betrayed you. You were treated badly. You deserved better. Maybe you were completely right. But now you're replaying the conversation 6 months later. You're imagining what you should have said. You're explaining the situation to people who already agree with you. You're waiting for an apology, for justice, for closure. But here's the problem. The person who hurt you may never give you the ending you need. And if you refuse to move until they do, you've handed them control over your recovery. You're still letting them decide when your life gets to continue. Being right can feel powerful, but sometimes being free is more important. And the third trap is the one that can destroy your resilience completely. You turn an event into an identity. The business failed becomes, I'm a failure. They rejected you becomes, I'm not lovable. You made a mistake becomes, I'm the kind of person who ruins everything. Notice what happened. A temporary event became a permanent identity, and now your brain isn't trying to solve a problem, it's trying to solve you. That's an impossible assignment. So you shut down. This is why resilience isn't about becoming someone who never gets hurt. That's impossible. Resilient people still get rejected. They still lose people. They still have nights where they sit alone and wonder what they're doing with their life. The difference is what happens next. They have trained one specific skill, the ability to find control inside chaos. And you can train it too, not by pretending everything is okay, not by forcing positive thoughts, and definitely not by becoming emotionless. Start smaller. When something goes wrong, stop asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is one thing I can move? One email, one phone call, one page, one workout, one shower, one room cleaned, one conversation you've been avoiding. It might look ridiculously small compared with the problem. That's the point. You're not trying to fix your entire life in one afternoon. You're giving your brain evidence. My actions still change things. And the more evidence you collect, the more your brain begins to trust you again. Then start doing something else. Choose small difficulties on purpose. Take the uncomfortable conversation. Finish the thing you keep postponing. Sit without your phone for 20 minutes. Do the workout when you don't feel like it. Learn something that makes you feel stupid at first, because every time you voluntarily do something difficult and survive it, you're teaching your brain discomfort isn't danger. That's a completely different message. And there's one final shift that changes everything. Stop trying to become unbreakable. Become recoverable. Because the strongest person in the room isn't necessarily the person who never falls apart. It's the person who can say, this hurt me. I'm not okay yet, but I know what I can do next. That's real resilience. Not never hitting the floor, knowing how to get back up. And eventually, something strange happens. The same situation that would have destroyed you 2 years ago still hurts, but it doesn't own you anymore. You lose the person, you lose the job, you fail, you get rejected, you have a terrible week. And somewhere underneath all of it, there's a new belief. I've been here before. I know what to do now. That is when life starts feeling different. Not because life became easier, because you became harder to permanently stop. So think about your own life for a second. Which trap has been controlling you? Avoiding discomfort? Waiting for someone to admit they were wrong? Or turning every setback into a statement about who you are? Pick one, because the moment you can name the pattern, you can finally stop letting it run your life. And remember this, you don't need to become someone who never falls. You need to become someone who knows the way back up.